Good evening and welcome to News 9. We're live from our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra. The bulletin is also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi and on over 30 affiliates across the country. Tonight, Ghana's currency, the cedi, roars back to life as it makes 11% gain against the dollar to near the 10 cedi mark, sparking concerns over sustainability and whether the Bank of Ghana's renewed forex interventions have the blessing of the IMF.
But the cedi is making an adjustment, and I believe that it will settle at a certain rate, and we will make sure that any depreciation that occurs in the value of the cedi is within a margin of about 5% per annum. That is what we target.
We bring you details as year-to-date data tracked by JoyNews research show the local currency is now the best performer against the US dollar globally.
Tonight, a desperate reality. We'll tell you about teenage girls at Kwesitwikrom who were forced to use filthy, dark, foul-smelling pond water during their period or skip school entirely after the town's only water source was shut down due to illegal mining in our latest Galamsey series titled Dear Mahama.
And we'll also take you to the Ashanti region where HEFRA continues to shut down health facilities for operating without valid certification. Total number as of today stands at 18.
Additionally, we are looking at facilities which are using quacks to operate. We have been able to visit 20 facilities, and out of that, we've been able to close down 18 of them. We intend to do more over the coming days.
Coming up in business,
IMF charges Ghana to strengthen public financial management to prevent country returning into debt crisis.
And in sports,
Black Stars head coach Otuado not ready to open the door to players who rejected Ghana in the past.
And also coming up tonight, minority in parliament opposes Telecel takeover of AT as it accuses communications minister of secret dealings for rejecting Rektron's $150 million US bid.
He argued that Rektron was only investing $150 million for 5 years against a capital of $600 million required to attain competitiveness, customer market share of at least 28%. This is a facade. Honorable Sam George quickly convened a meeting. And directed that AT customers roam on Telecel network starting September 1st. The minister's conduct had led to an estimated loss of 7 million Ghana cedis in revenue to AT.
We have the latest of these and many other stories coming up in the next 1 hour. You can be a part of this show by sending us a WhatsApp on 055 11 11 997. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
And my name is Ofori.
Details after this. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Well, in a stunning reversal of fortunes, the Ghana cedi has surged by over 11% against the US dollar in less than a week following the Bank of Ghana's bold move to inject a whopping $1.15 billion into the forex market this month. Well, this strategic injection has sent shockwaves of confidence through the financial sector, causing the cedi to strengthen significantly. Earlier this year, the International Monetary Fund warned that the Bank of Ghana's footprint in the forex market was excessive and called for a more structured foreign exchange operations framework. JoyNews research has tracked the performance of the cedi since the BOG's announcement, and available data show that the cedi has fallen significantly against the local currency since then. We'll be speaking shortly with our lead data and research analyst here at JoyNews, Isaac Kofieje, for more on this. But first, let's listen to President John Dramani Mahama when he told reporters earlier this year, just last month, about the strong performance of the cedi back then.
We recognize a very steep appreciation in the value of the cedi in response to the reforms that we were carrying out. And for those of you who listened to me, there was one occasion where I said, people were asking whether it will go below 10. And I said, it is dropping, but it will find its true value. It was undervalued at 16. Investors are not happy because they get less cedis for what they export. And so every country tries to find out a balance where exporters are able to do good business and importers are not overburdened by high forex rates. Where that lies, I don't know. I'm not a central bank. But the cedi is making an adjustment, and I believe that it will settle at a certain rate, and we will make sure that any depreciation that occurs in the value of the cedi is within a margin of about 5% per annum. That is what we target.
And you have President John Dramani Mahama expressing strong confidence in the stability of the city. And the studio with me right now is lead data and research analyst at JoyNews, Isaac Kofiaje. Isaac, how far has the city really traveled since the Apex Bank made the announcement to intervene in the market?
Well, Pearl, so if you look at the year-to-date appreciation of the cedi against the dollar, it's now about 32%. And less than 3 months to end the year, it's clear government can achieve that 5% depreciation target they set for themselves. Now, the US dollar, which was trading at somewhere 12 cedi 40 pesos on the day of the forex intervention announcement, is now hovering around 11 cedi 8 pesos, according to official data that we have tracked from the Bank of Ghana and also from Bloomberg. So what we understand is that yet-to-date analysis shows the cedi is currently the best performing currency against the dollar globally. And if you look at the first 10 months analysis of the cedi in the last 3 years, just last year, around the same time, in the first 10 months of the year, the cedi lost 27% of its value against the dollar. In 2023, it lost 25.4% against the dollar in terms of its value. But this year, it is different. It is having an appreciation of at least 32% in the first 10 months of the year.
So we know that the city is witnessing its best October yet. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, in fact, the first half of October, or the first 15 days of every October, we usually see the cedi having either mild depreciation or some level of stability. This is the first time post-COVID we are seeing the cedi show up significant appreciation against the dollar in the first half of October. So, for instance, in 2021, the cedi in the first half of October lost about 0.17% against the dollar, then lost 10.26% against the dollar in 2022, 1.62% against the dollar in 2023. Last year was 0.38%. But this year, same period under review, the cedi has now gained 11.85%, which is now making it the world best performing currency. And in fact, if you look at the average depreciation post-COVID in the first 15 days of October, it is usually a depreciation of at least 3.12%. But this year, we are rather witnessing an appreciation of 11.2%. Pearl.
Isaac, thank you. Now let me put you on the spot here. How sustainable do you think this is?
As long as the Bank of Ghana keeps its footprints in the market, I think this will be sustainable.
Lead data and research analyst at JoyNews, Isaac Kofiaje.
Well, let's now bring in Godfred Bobkin. He is a professor of finance and an economist at the University of Ghana Business School. Glad you can join us tonight. More than 11% appreciation in less than a week. How positive is this for the country's economy?
Well, it doesn't signal a celebration. We don't celebrate disruptions like this. I'm very careful with the choice of words because what market players are looking for is stability, predictability. What we have experienced this year is not any of them. Disruption can result in gains. It can also result in losses. So while some people are counting gains, others are counting losses. It's about a fair balance. And at the end of the day, what Bank of Ghana should be looking at is stability. I'm not too sure with the current leadership of Bank of Ghana.
Right.
This is a treasured position. It looks to me that the current leadership of Bank of Ghana favor low exchange rate, regardless of the implications for the economy. I would suggest that we adopt a more long-term strategic reserve management that offers stability and predictability for the foreseeable future. If you look at our reserves. And let's go back. And that will help us understand whether this is sustainable. You will notice that we are achieving this aggressive strengthening of the currency at a great cost to the country. A great cost because, in a certain sense, we are unwilling to aggressively deal with illegal money because we suspect there will be a structural break in the supply of gold. Because we believe that black gold has played a big role in the aggressive strengthening of the currency. So it doesn't matter, it's black gold. People are dying. We are destroying our water, but to the extent that 32 million people are obsessed about a low exchange rate, the cost of achieving that should never be elevated to the agenda item. That is sad for Ghana. Look at it this way. If you track the data, you will notice that the level of sterilization the Bank of Ghana has done in terms of mopping up excess liquidity from the market runs into billions of cedis. What that means is that credit, which could have been available in the market for businesses to borrow at low cost and expand and create jobs, is no longer available.
Right.
So what that means is that we are having this aggressive strengthening at a great cost to private sector competitiveness. You check the data and see whether lending to private sector has gone up significantly.
Professor Bobkin, it's interesting that you've brought in Galamsey into this conversation. Is that to suggest that we are trading the appreciation of the city with the precious lives of Guineans?
We don't care. It doesn't look like we care enough. Do you know something? If you buy foodstuffs from certain regions in this country, you are exposed to higher risk. So, and then, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the perspective of government in terms of cooling the economy, the reset. But I am afraid because, look, this all that we are doing now and all that Bank of Ghana has done this year,
right?
It's nothing but to prop up the value of the city at the expense of so many things. We are too fixated on exchange rates. We are mopping up excess liquidity. We are doing so many things just for the currency to be where we want it to be. But we should just understand that we have an economy to build, jobs to be created, environment to preserve, and all of that. So we need to have a balanced view. Also, bear in mind that, yes, we understand that Bank of Ghana has reserves. We are not disputing that. I mean, even our monetary gold, call it blood gold, has gone up significantly. So Bank of Ghana has got that kind of backing to be able to intervene in the market and all of that. And to the extent that Bank of Ghana has appetite for low exchange rates, predicting market dynamics could be a bit complicated because it's no longer the issue that is the forces of demand and supply. That's why the IMF raised an issue about Bank of Ghana's footprint in the market.
Right. Professor Bobkin, speaking of the Bank of Ghana, not long ago, the IMF cautioned against the intervention in the forex market. And here we are with a pumping of over $1 billion into this. Do you see that we are likely to see this derail the IMF program that we currently are on?
Well, to the extent that we have reserves in excess of the floor ceiling that the IMF has set and all of that, I want to believe that the fund would be a bit flexible and all of that, even though we know the position of the fund, that they will prefer a flexible exchange rate with less intervention in the market by Bank of Ghana. Don't get this wrong. No one is saying that Bank of Ghana cannot intervene in the market. All over the world, central banks intervene in the market to smoothen distortions or excess fluctuations in the currency. But it should not be done in such a way that the predictability of the currency becomes solely dependent on what the central bank is doing and all of that. And to the extent that Bank of Ghana, and if you look at, in fact, if you check at the beginning of the year, when we saw the aggressive strengthening of the currency,
Right.
we had maintained that the central bank was intervening in the market. In fact, at the beginning, the central bank denied that they were intervening in the market and that it was more confidence and then market forces and all of that, until the IMF eventually came to shine the light and then all of that. But you also understand that ahead of the fifth review, there was a scaling back, and we saw the implication of that in the market. But look at it this way. The program would end, let's say, December this year, but I suspect that given that the government is a bit behind when it comes to structural reforms, there might be some 3 months technical extension or so of the program to let's say March, about to allow us time to and all of that. But bear in mind that when the program ends, we are thinking about sustainability. How do you build resilience beyond IMF supported program? And therefore, to that extent, Bank of Ghana should adopt a long-term position towards the management of our reserves rather than using it to achieve short-term gains.
Right, Godfred Bobkin, I want to thank you very much for your time this evening. He's a professor of finance and also an economist at the University of Ghana Business School, pal.
Let's take listeners to the Central Region and talk about the impact of Galamsey on teenage girls. Now, in Kwesitwikrom Basic School in the Agona East District, teenage girls are paying the price for illegal mining. With a local water source shut down earlier due to contamination, they are forced to use dirty, dark, and foul-smelling pond water during their periods or skip school altogether. The first episode of JoyNews' Dear Mahama series reveals the multi-dimensional harms of Galamsey on communities across the country. Have a listen.
So let's talk about things we can do to conserve our water bodies. Yes, Angel.
We should avoid illegal mining.
In this classroom at Kwesitwikrom Junior High School, lessons on clean water and hygiene are in full swing.
All our water bodies are being destroyed.
For girls like Irajua, a Form 3 pupil, menstruation turns school days into a struggle with fear, discomfort, and no clean water.
It's water crisis, and fetching from the Ofori is a bit challenging, especially using to cook, washing, and bathing. And like I am a girl, and using this water when I'm menstruating is a bit difficult for me. But I have to adapt to it because of the crisis here. At times, I can't use water because of how the water is, because the water has to be boiled and all those stuffs. So when the water is not boiled and we don't usually use gas here, we use firewood, and I don't have time to boil it, so I have to use the water and come to school early.
Ghana has made strides in girl child education. Enrollment has risen. More girls are staying in school, and conversations around menstrual hygiene have grown louder. But here in Kwesitwikrom, a water crisis fueled by illegal mining threatens to erode those gains. For months now, taps have run dry following shutdown of the Kwenyako headworks, unable to treat raw water from the heavily polluted Ayensu River.
Our menstrual health is declining because of illegal mining. This is a cause of distraction for many of us because we are always thinking about where to get clean water.
We need water to clean our genital parts, to wash so that we can be clean, because we can't just change and use another sanitary pad. It affects us. It can give us infections.
The Ofori pond is their only source of water, dirty, murky, and smelling. For girls, this is where menstruation hygiene begins and ends. Some girls simply stay away from school during their period. Others, like Irajua, endure the discomfort, attending class but unable to focus.
I'm a Form 3 student.
I am a Form 3 student, and we don't have much time left before our final exams.
Robert Yankee is the science teacher here. He watches over these pupils and sees how the water situation steals both their time and their health.
Assuming there's no water, and then the child or this girl child have or experiences her menses, how will she even clean herself? without having access to potable water? Do you want their child to use this contaminated water to clean her genital part? It means that she'll be introduced or she'll be prone to more infections.
Nana Kwesitwi the fourth is the chief of Kwesitwikrom. He sees the daily toll the water crisis takes on his community and especially its children.
The children in this community don't even get water to drink. Sometimes lessons have to stop so they can go home to fetch water. It's a big source of worry for us.
I will need the government to help us with the illegal mining water issue and to put a stop to illegal mining. And we can come to school without being stressed and all those stuff.
The Kwenyakun headworks, once the lifeline for this community, shut down after turbidity levels hit almost 95,000. Safe levels are below 50. President John Dramani Mahama is unconvinced to declare a state of emergency on mining, on water bodies and forest reserves.
I've been reluctant to implement a state of emergency in the Galamsey fight because we've not exhausted the powers we even have without a state of emergency.
Here in Kwesitwikrom, girls like Irajua live in a constant state of emergency. They are victims of rivers poisoned by illegal mining.
Right, and reacting to this story, Africa president of International Federation of Female Lawyers, Efua Eisen, warned the development could seriously affect fertility among young children and women.
And it's not only the girl child, it's also the woman and the men also in the community. But for the girl child, it's more troubling because they have to deal with this whilst in school. And we know that in these areas, they are already handicapped with very little resources. Competing with schools in Accra here is not easy. Then now you have to also consider your health and mental hygiene, and even your very survival, living in a Galamsey area. And I don't think it's fair for the girl child in those communities to be going through this. And that's why we need the government to really take a second look at this Galamsey issue, especially on how it affects women and girls. And only God knows how it's going to affect our fertility in the next few years, how it will affect our population, because clearly fertility issues would automatically affect population issues. Hope that we hear something from the Ghana Health Service, the Ministry of Health, on direction on how to manage the situation. We are in already, it's a crisis situation.
The Executive Director of Child Rights International, Bright Appiah, who also spoke on the AM show, said it would cost the state millions of dollars to rehabilitate the thousands of girl children and women whose lives will be severely impacted by using contaminated water during menstruation.
Well, watching it, at least I got the privilege of watching the video. So for me, it's just a confirmation of what is on the ground. And the happenings are not far from what we talked about over the years. And the key thing for me that I picked from this particular documentary has to do with the fact that in all aspects, especially when it comes to the right of a child or the right of a child, millions are being picked, which is critical in promoting the welfare of children. Clearly, you will see that there are major pillars of rights that have been abused in terms of how children need to be cared for in such environment. It should send a signal to us for us to take certain pragmatic steps under our rehabilitation and maintenance program. Then it means that the state is going to spend a lot of money to be able to do that, because to be able to subject a child to rehabilitation program, it is millions of dollars for you to even be able to rehabilitate a particular child, especially where the gravity of the issue is so much that it has become a norm in a particular society.
Well, there's been more reactions on this, and the media relations officer of the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry, Kwesitwikrom, has vowed continuous government action to deal with illegal mining contaminating Ghana's water resources. He, however, rejects claims that this government is failing in the fight against Galamsey.
The issues raised are valid issues indeed. To see that young girls are obviously going through a lot because of the impact of illegal mining is something that any logical person should be able to sympathize with. Indeed, I do as well. The good news, however, is that these developments or sins of this nature have the attention of government, and there are programs and initiatives to curb it. And so, yes, the results may not be immediate and instantaneous, but we'll certainly get there. We need to
Right, and this is a reaction to a comprehensive series on illegal mining titled Dear Mahama. You can catch the first episode on all our social media platforms as well, and you can watch all of that and sharing your thoughts with us, especially if you live in the Galamsey area. How is it affecting you? How is it impacting your everyday life? WhatsApp platform is 055 11 11 997. Let's hear from you. But it's not time for business, and James Ishani is here with the latest. James, what's up?
Hi, Ken. Coming up in business this evening, IMF charges Ghana to strengthen public financial management system to prevent the country from returning into debt crisis. And Ghana and the World Bank deepen partnership to boost development across 5 key critical sectors. Business News on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all office essentials, Syntex tanks, and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal. Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. My name is James Ishen. We settle for the details. The IMF has charged Ghana to strengthen its public financial management systems to help prevent the country from getting back into any form of debt crisis. Ghana in 2022 slipped into serious financial challenges, forcing it to enter into debt restructuring with its bilateral and commercial creditors. The development locked Ghana out from accessing the international market as donor funds were frozen. By responding to a question posed by Joy Business at a news conference in Washington, D.C., USA, a director at the IMF Fiscal Department, Davide Fuseri, provided some solutions to Ghana's challenges.
Now, with respect to Ghana, I think there are 2 important lessons that we learned. The first is strengthen revenue mobilization through improving tax administration to create resources for additional spending, including on priority spending, including health. And second, strengthen public financial management to avoid payment of arrears, to increase debt transparency, and to keep the fiscal house in order, as we usually say.
Davide Fuseri as Deputy Division Chief at the IMF Research Department. Now, Finance Minister Dr. Atuforsen has held a high-level meeting with the President of the World Bank Group, Ajay Banga, aimed at strengthening cooperation and unlocking new opportunities for the country's development agenda. The following report has more.
The meeting, which took place on the sidelines of the IMF World Bank annual meetings, focused on scaling up support for both ongoing World Bank finance projects and new initiatives designed to accelerate Ghana's economic transformation. Dr. Forsen and Mr. Banga agreed to prioritize 5 strategic sectors where enhanced World Bank support will deliver maximum impact for the Ghanaian economy and its citizens. The sectors are education, health, energy, roads, and agriculture. According to the finance minister, these areas are critical to Ghana's medium to long-term development ambitions and will form the foundation of future collaboration with the World Bank.
And that was a News Desk report. Now, economics professor Peter Korti has argued that maintaining a strict fiscal discipline will be critical in securing donor and investor confidence going forward. He made the comment after the finance minister, Dr. Atuforsen, revealed that he's using the annual IMF World Bank meetings to help address some economic challenges faced by the country. Professor Korti said government may have to take some drastic measures to get the necessary donor buy-in and commitment to Ghana's economic plan and turnaround strategy.
Ensuring fiscal discipline is very key. Our debt GDP should be within reasonable threshold, and also our fiscal spending, our spending should be within limits. And while we raise revenue, our revenue GDP ratio is low, and we have to continue to raise more revenue. As we continue to raise revenue and reduce spending, or not grow our spending by any major margin, we'll see deficits within the agreed threshold by the IMF. And I'm sure that with all of this in place, our economy will be in a much stable environment, much stable outlook. But let's grow the economy. Let's reduce the jobless growth process. Let's grow. Let's create jobs and employ our young people.
And that was economist Professor Peter Corti there speaking. The 2025 West Africa Oil and Gas Outlook by Deloitte has revealed that the sub-region's oil and gas market is demonstrating strong growth potential driven by global energy demand and rich reserves in the region. The following report has more.
According to the 2025 West Africa Oil and Gas Outlook report by Deloitte, the sub-region's oil and gas market recorded a compound annual growth rate of 6.5% from 2025 to 2033. This is worth approximately $80 million. Nigeria accounts for 60%, while Ghana accounts for approximately 20% of the value. The report explained that the oil and gas sector in the sub-region is facing a decisive inflection point. The report stated that from Nigeria's hydrocarbon-rich delta to Angola's offshore blocks, to the enormous gas reserves in the East African Rift Valley, the continent is recalibrating its approach to energy equity, security, and sustainability. In terms of crude oil production in Africa, Nigeria remains the top producer, producing around 1.5 million barrels per day at the end of 2024, with Angola closely behind at 1.1 million barrels per day.
And that was a business desk report. Now, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anthony Kwesitwikrom, has called on members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana to embrace innovation in their line of duty. According to him, that has become necessary to improve the quality of service delivery in the accounting profession. He gave the remark at the 2025 launching by the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana in Accra.
The digital world, innovation is no longer an option. It is the engine of relevance. If you are going to remain relevant, then innovation is the way to go. We cannot be left behind. And the third component, which is compliance, ensures that as individuals and institutions operate, we operate within defined rules, standards, and ethical boundaries. And the connection between compliance and integrity is that every action that we take, like Newton's third law of motion, to every action there is equal and opposite reaction.
Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anthony Kwesitwikrom, ending the business news on Newsnight with me, James Ishen.
Yeah, now Black Stars head coach Otuado has shared his thoughts on reports linking several foreign-born players to potential nationality switches ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Among the names reportedly interested in representing Ghana are Crystal Palace striker Eddie Nketiah and Nottingham Forest forward Calum Hudson-Odoi. In an exclusive interview with Joy Sports, Otuado expressed caution over welcoming players who previously turned down Ghana, stressing that commitment and team unity remains his top priorities.
On my mind, 100%, and I will decide it. So it's very, very important that he's committed. If we have contacted the player before and was not willing to play for us at the AFCON qualifiers or at previous tournaments or whatsoever, and now saying he's committed, even though maybe we called him and texted him, and it's going to be difficult, to be honest, because I think we as Ghanaians all should have a pride for our country, the same as if a player doesn't reply for the call-ups.
That was Black Stars head coach Otuado. The Otuado exclusive is later tonight at 8:30 p.m. on Joy News Prime. That's all for sports. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Daniel. Pearl, let's head to the Upper West region. What's happening there?
Well, one out of the three persons put on trial for the murder of owner of Royal Cozy Hills Hotel, popularly known as Jirapa Dubai, has been found guilty of murder Eric Johnson, who was 60 at the time of his murder, was killed on Sunday, February 11 last year. Dear Mahama, who served as the human resource manager at the hotel, was found guilty unanimously by the jury and sentenced to life imprisonment. But 2 other persons were found not guilty for abetting the murder. My colleague, Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam, followed this trial throughout and has joined us with details. Rafiq, refresh our memories a bit on this gruesome killing.
This is an incident that occurred on February 11 on Sunday. Eric Johnson, who is the owner of Jirba Dubai, was found dead lying in a pool of blood during the wee hours of that day. And so the police arrested 11 suspects. Out of these 11 suspects, it was thrown down to 3. Dear Mahama, who was then the prime suspect, and also Belinda Miller, who serves as a desk officer, and then also the security man called Cedi Comeback. And so these are the people who were arraigned before the court. And so today, 7 jurors made judgment on their fate today.
Rafiq, so you've been speaking to the Principal State Attorney, Said Shakar. What was his reaction to today's verdict?
Said Shakur is really happy about the verdict because he says that the first accused, the person of Dear Mahama, they found both his foot and his fingerprints on the room, even on the blood stains of Eric Johnson on him. And so we believe that he's the one who really killed Eric Johnson.
Footprints are in his blood-stained footprints are in the man's room. His fingerprints are in the man's room. What are they doing there? And he said that for over 40 days he had not entered the place. But these were fresh in the pool of blood. His footprints and his fingerprints. He could only be the one who killed Eric Johnson. And the jury has returned a guilty verdict. And I think that is fair and just.
How do you feel today?
A little bit relief. I feel that the weight has been taken off my shoulders. I feel that people, and I'm really happy the interest you showed, everybody in Upper West showed in this particular matter. I'm very, very happy that it has come to this conclusion. I'm so happy.
So, Rafiq, we heard from the Principal State Attorney. You also spoke to the lawyer for the accused persons. Briefly, what did he say?
He told us that he was not interested in talking to us, but his brief comment was only that he was going to pursue an appeal. And people even tell you that Dear Mahama himself, before he was convicted, he told the court that yes, he respects the opinion of the court, but he thinks that he maintained his innocence on the murder of Eric Johnson, and he's saying that he also pursue the path of appeal.
When you conduct a case, you want that justice should be done, and justice should be done and done in the right way. In as much as nobody is happy about the death of Eric Johnson, the accused persons have a right to a fair trial, which the prosecution brought into court, and I decided to defend them to the best of my ability.
Rafiq, the accused person, while he was being taken away, continued to insist that he was not guilty. What exactly did he say?
He told the court that yes, he respects the opinion of the jurors and then also the court, but he thinks that he cannot fight the court. He says, just a mere man. Maybe if after the court, he said, quote, I am a mere man, I can't fight the court. But now that he thinks that there is a path for an appeal, he will pursue that. And one day, he believes that he will be a victor.
Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam, thank you very much for that update.
Well, Pearl, from the Upper West region, let's head to the Ashanti region now, because the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency has closed down 18 health facilities in Kumasi, including the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly KMA Clinic, for operating without valid licenses. The enforcement exercise, which forms part of HEFRA's nationwide compliance campaign, uncovered several irregularities in both public and private health facilities. According to officials, the affected institutions had either failed to renew their operational licenses or were running without the necessary certification required by law. The following report has more.
We also want to thank the judiciary, the judge.
Among the facilities affected were maternity homes, clinic and diagnostic centers located in various parts of the Ashanti region. According to the Director for Monitoring and Compliance at HEFRA, Dr. Ajiman Bedu, some of the closed facilities lacked qualified personnel, maintained poor sanitation conditions, and failed to adhere to basic infection prevention protocols.
Additionally, we are looking at facilities which are using quacks to operate. We have been able to visit 20 facilities, and out of that, we've been able to close down 18 of them. We intend to do more over the coming days.
The agency has also indicated that the ongoing enforcement will extend to many parts of the country to sensitize the healthcare system.
Our mandate says that we are to license all health facilities, both public and private. So we want to sound a warning to all the public health facilities as well, that the target is not private health facilities. We are coming after all health facilities, both public and private, so that Ghanaians will be safe wherever they go for healthcare services.
The compliance and enforcement team from HEFRA ended its operation at the KMA clinic where they shut down the facility. For JoyNews, Nana Bwachidanko Yadom, Kumasi.
And this week on Climate Focus, we hear of Ghana's National Adaptation Plan, which is a strategy to build resilience against rising temperatures, floods, and changing weather. Nana Dr. Kwesitwikrom Amwa of the EPA says climate change is already impacting Ghana, making urgent adaptation essential for the country's future. Michael Ashali has more.
Ghana is reeling from the harsh impacts of climate change. From scorching nights and shifting planting seasons to flooding in cities and rising sea levels along the coast. Experts warn that without urgent adaptation, livelihoods, health and national security are at risk.
Your bedrooms are getting warmer and warmer than before.
Director of Climate Adaptation and Vulnerability at the Environmental Protection Agency, Nana Dr. Kwesitwikrom Amwa, is leading Ghana's National Adaptation Plan. He says the evidence is clear that climate change is no longer distant.
Some people are living far away from the seashore. Today, either they have been forced to move or they are about to move because the shorelines is getting closer and closer to them.
That is why Ghana is developing a national adaptation plan to build climate resilience into every sector of development.
Looking at it from medium to long term, instead of doing emergency responses.
For JoyNews, Michael Ashali.
Climate Focus is brought to you by JoyNews in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
And I'm sure most of us have been dreaming of owning a home where electronics will control your activities for so long. That is what Automation Ghana promises you at the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair. Well, they will help you fit your house so it can play music, answer questions, and even remind you of important events without a sweat. Here the vendors tell you why you should choose this energy-efficient home designed for your comfort and convenience.
Talking about the sale and installation of CCTVs, we have fire alarm, intruder alarm, access control, time and attendance, video doorbell, tank styles, and recently we've added our new product, which is the body-worn camera. Yeah, so basically everything that has to do with security, electronic security, that is what you do. So this year we are giving 20% discount on all our products.
We are in the AI age and things are advancing a lot. So when we take, for instance, our smart home solutions, your home comes alive because it's not just a home that you have to be controlling everything by yourself. You have to wake up, turn on a switch for light, turn TV. You can schedule your home for it to do all of this by itself. So maybe in the morning, your TV should come on, it should start giving you a flash news, maybe from JoyNews, the outside light should go off. All of this can be automated.
There are lots of surprises.
Well, the stage is set, the buzz is back, and it's bigger than ever. The 2025 edition of the National Science and Maths Quiz has officially been launched, featuring a record-breaking 174 participating schools, the largest in the competition's history, from first-timers to seasoned contenders. Excitement is building as the quest for supremacy begins. My colleague Jacqueline and Sumaya Boy has more in this report.
It's official.
The 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz is here, and this year's edition promises to be the most thrilling yet, with 174 schools competing, up from 157 last year. The contest has shattered its own record for participation. According to the Managing Director of Primetime Limited, Nana Ekia-Mensah-Bonsu, this year's edition will not only be bigger, but also more exciting and full of surprises.
Like I always say, the usual fireworks. And there are lots of surprises. Even with the contestants or the participating schools, we have 15 new schools that are participating, and some of them were in Port A, so you have to watch out for them. Wovenu and Mankisi Message CS, you have to watch out for them. We are prepared. There's been a lot of back and forth and so on, but yes, we are prepared.
On his part, the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, pledged government's commitment to support STEM education. He revealed that 9.6 million Ghana cedis has been made available by the government to support the competition.
You are assuring me of a Ghana which has a future. A Ghana that is committed to STEM, we are told, even improves economic growth. That countries that has dedicated support and elevate the study of science and mathematics is more likely to do better in its economic growth than other areas. In the age of social media, which has become a toxic source of misinformation, it's important that I place on record that the government of President Mahama made available to prime time 9.6 million to support the National Maths and Science Quiz.
Anticipation is high as both first-time participants and returning schools gear up for the contest, each hoping this will be the year to make history.
So for our past contest, I think we did our homework and we are ready to deliver this year.
Even though last year was quite unfortunate, we couldn't make it to the finals. This year we are coming back fully prepared. We had our victory in the regional, so we expect nothing but the best.
Cry Girls is the best. Is the best among equals. So just expect nothing but the best from us.
Are you going to be the first girls' school to win?
Yes.
As the countdown begins, all eyes are once again on the National Science and Maths Quiz, where knowledge meets passion and only the sharpest minds will rise to the top. For JoyNews, I'm Jacqueline Ansama.
And that should be exciting. Pearl, is your school part of the NSMQ?
You don't want to ask me, no.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, let's head to Parliament now, because the minority in the House is accusing the Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Sam George, of rejecting $150 million investment bid from Rektron in favor of what they describe as a less transparent Telecel takeover of 80. Well, ranking member on the Communications Committee, Matthew Nyindam, told the media the deal was riddled with secrecy, inconsistencies, and conflict of interest, warning it could cost Ghana its only state-owned telecom fair. And of course, that press conference was held by the minority earlier today in Parliament right now. And of course, that's it for now. But before we go, let's read a few of your messages that you have been sending in. This is Nana from Spintex Road. He says, how interesting is democracy in Ghana? Insulting opponents on TV stations, ruling party members wanting civil servants sacked and replaced by the very 4 or 8 years. Replaced every 4 or 8 years. Are they qualified and experienced for the jobs they are after? And these are some of the messages that you have been sending on our WhatsApp. And that's it for tonight. My name is Kenneth, Gyasi.
And my name is Ofori.
And of course, today is Wednesday, and that means that the beautiful Enimwa and her guests will be seated with Strong and Sassy.
Well, hello.
Enimwa, long time no see. Where have you been?
I've been here.
Oh, have you?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Right. What are you discussing?
What are we
tonight?
talking about? So, did you know that there is a time in a woman's life when she must take a pause from men? It's called menopause.
Oh, That was a good one.
That was a really good one, right? Yeah, but we're talking about menopause. So it's World Menopause Day on Saturday.
Right.
And of course, I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm way too young to be thinking about menopause. But it is the inevitable thing that every woman goes through at some point. So we thought, you know what, let's just bring reality into reality.
Right.
And have the conversation and start getting you ready for that time in your life.
That should be an interesting one. I'll be listening.
Yes, all right. Thank you. Well, stay tuned in. Strong and Sassy coming up next.
Sure.